Christopher Ward have just released their first new collection of the year, the C65 Dune Aeolian, and there's quite a lot to talk about, so let's jump into it. But first, I'm not a watch expert, I'm just a watch nerd, so like, subscribe, comment, and let's talk about some watches. There's actually 8 new references for us to talk about, so we're going to try and keep this video fairly succinct, but let's go through a brief explanation of what they are first. First of all, what the hell is an Aeolian? Well, apparently, an Aeolian is the different sand dunes and stuff that you see in the desert, and that is caused by the wind, essentially creating sandy waves in the desert. And if you've seen Christopher Ward's collections before, they have done a limited edition dial with that sand dune wave pattern on them, and they wanted to bring that to a whole collection, so here we are. I think they look really nice, and we did actually manage to get hands-on with them yesterday, the 21st of January, at Christopher Ward's HQ. We were invited down, so we're going to have a little bit of B-roll of us being hands-on. Honestly, it was really cool to get hands-on with the watch before release. It's a first for us. So what's the same about all of these references? Well, first of all, between the steel variant, that's time only, between the bronze variant and between the GMT variant, they all have the same dimensions. If you're familiar with the Christopher Ward light catcher case, then you'll be familiar with the case and the dimensions of this watch. So 38mm diameter, 11.9mm height. It does have a 1.5mm high domed sapphire. The strap width is 20mm and the lug length is 43.7mm. If you're concerned about water resistance, screw down crown with 150 meters water resistant. Absolutely brilliant. And honestly, the watches wear great. If you're familiar with the 38mm light catcher case, it's a great case. I'm glad that they didn't change that part of the formula. We'll talk about the main steel collection first, and it comprises of 4 watches. You've got grey, you've got blue, you've got green, and you've got this sandy colour. The sandy colour is a continuation on from the most popular previous Dune model, and honestly, all 4 of these colours look great. I'm a big fan of the grey, personally. It was my favourite to see in person. I like versatile watches and fashion choices. That's just me, but all of these look really, really lovely. Something to note on all of the watches in all of this release is all of the lume emits blue, but in highlight conditions, it's all colour matched. So on the grey, it'll have grey lume. On the blue, it'll have blue lume. Honestly, it just really elevates it for me. And something else to note on all of these releases, they've gotten rid of the trident counterbalance on the seconds hand. In fact, if you have a look at Terry's C65 GMT previous generation and the new one side by side, you can actually see the new one just looks a little bit less busy. The removal of the trident apparently was because it belongs to the dive watches. They believed it didn't make much sense for it to be on the field watches. They wanted the new pattern dial to speak for itself. So honestly, really good decision. It marks a bit of a refinement. These steel watches and the bronze both feature the Sellita SW210-1 movement. One big difference though. The steel models are -20 plus 20 seconds a day accurate. The bronze is actually COSC rated, so that'll be -4 plus 6 rated. If you're talking about price for these steel models, £750 on canvas, £760 on vintage oak leather, and £915 on the Beta bracelet. Beta bracelet's great, no complaints there from me. So the bronze is only available in sort of a dusky brown or the green, again, colour matched lume. And honestly, these look spectacular. The full bronze bracelet was incredible. And as I mentioned, these 2 are also COSC certified, which just marks something a little bit step above. So these are sort of the premium watches in the range. Really no complaints from me. The fact that they've shown restraint as well in not including a date on the steel time only or the bronze, it just makes them feel a little bit more special to me. I think these could be real strap beasts with a 20mm lug width. Really, really cool. And last but not least, everybody, we're onto the GMTs. So the GMTs don't have the Aeolian wave pattern. What you do have is obviously a GMT function. It's not a true GMT, it is a cooler GMT. So the second crown position, one direction will do date, one direction will do the GMT. And what you have is either a blue dial or you have the sand dial. No color match lume on the blue, but I actually don't mind that because you also have the split color inner bezel. It's really, really cool. And on the GMT specifically is where I appreciate the fact that they've gotten rid of that trident counterbalance. I actually mentioned it in the sort of press conference thing. You've got 4 different hands, all of which have a different design to them. You've got a date, you've got all of those numbers, because you've also got the GMT on the inner bezel. Having the trident counterbalance just made it feel a bit too busy, and that's also why they've left off the Aeolian motif on the dial, just because it would have been too much. Steel case on that one if you are interested in the movement. Again, the accuracy is -20, +20, same as the steel time only, but the movement, it's GMT, is a little bit different. It's the Sellita SW 330-2. Really cool movement, really solid, and Terry's not had any issues with his in the year he's had it. If you're interested in pricing, £995 on canvas, £1,005 on the vintage oak leather, and £1,160 again on a beta bracelet. So this is sort of price-wise, the middle of the road. Summing up, what I really like is it feels a lot more refined. The dial motif is very gorgeous. It actually uses the same process where it's stamped as the Bel Canto Classic. Really, really cool. If you're familiar with the new Aqua Racer range, it actually looks somewhat similar and catches the light really, really well. Apparently they put a lot of work into making sure that the Aeolians weren't too severe, so it didn't reflect too much light and overpower the dial. They look really, really cool. And again, big kudos for showing the restraint of not including a date, not including the trident counterbalance. All really, really cool. What I would like to see though, because obviously this is the first release of the new range, is it feels like they've purposely in some way hamstringed the steel models by not including a COSC variant, when I know some people would really like to see a chronometer certified steel watch. Not everyone wants a bronze watch, in all honesty, because there's more upkeep, the patina. Some people just want a stainless steel watch, and I really want them to have a COSC certified option. So yeah, that was a lot of information to get into a bloody video. We have to sort of keep these fairly punchy because this has to be out by 8 AM tomorrow. And it's currently 20 past 6, so that's sort of the turnover that you guys get on these videos. So what do you think of these, Terry?
My favourite one,
yeah?
The one that really stuck out for me.
I know what you're going to say. Bronze green.
It was the bronze green.
Bronze green.
It was gorgeous.
I
was surprised. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
With the sand dials, I quite like the blue. I really like the blue.
I think the blue would be really cool, especially because the lume emits blue. Honestly, I don't have an issue with any of the colours. Like, you can even get them on colour matched canvas straps, which is just so cool. So blue on blue canvas.
How much better the canvas straps feel.
Yeah, because the new straps feel excellent, actually. We got hands-on with those, and apparently they were brand new, straight from the supplier. So comfortable, no break-in. Terry bought his Dune GMT on a canvas, and it was hard. It wasn't my favourite thing ever. So the new ones feel way better. The leather felt great. Honestly, I think this is a big improvement. 150 meters water resistance across the board. I've always loved this case. It just feels a bit more versatile and a bit more refined. It feels like the further Christopher Ward get in to, and the more mature they get, the more they nail down their design languages. I feel like now they need to include some sort of motif to something like the Trident range, because that's much more regular to see on dive watches. So is that going to come down the line? I have no goddamn idea, but it would be cool to see it. Be a bit more consistent in the styling of that range as well. So this is a great step forwards, and it's a big improvement in the Dune range, I think.
I think these would sound really well.
Yeah, I'm thinking so as well, because a watch needs a strong bread and butter staple, and this with that dial, it's gonna do well. What do you think? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Tell me what you think down in the comments, and if you need to, correct me as well, because I'm not a watch expert, I'm just a watch nerd. So whilst you're down there, like, subscribe, ding that bell icon so you never miss another video, and why not click that join button? Support the channel directly would be amazing, just like everyone on screen does now, because they are amazing. And a big thanks to Christopher Ward as well for inviting us down to have a look at these watches. It's a hands-on news review, Terry. God damn, that's awesome. And you know what I'm going to say next, guys? Watch yourselves.